Hey guys, I hope every one of you are doing really well. What's going on, True Living Tribe? I'm going to let everybody tune in here for a minute. I wanted to go live and just really provide a lot of value. I mean, in other words, I just want to be able to support as many entrepreneurs in their marketing endeavors and in their business growth and in their mindset. Because right now, the world is changing. Things are all over the place. People feel uncertain. People are coming up against themselves. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, and you play that game full out of being an entrepreneur, really, your day begins and ends with you, right? Your success leads to your success, and your failures are a direct result of your own actions, right? And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to be able to bridge a little bit of how to look at marketing from a sense of mindset. Like, in other words, there's a mindset approach to marketing and a marketing approach to mindset, because everything happens in language. Whether you're listening to right now, you're listening to me and in language. So the words that I'm saying are creating images and meaning inside of you. And the same way that you have a marketing message that you want to be meaningful to your consumer, you're also thinking to yourself in a meaningful way, right? Your thoughts, if you agree with them, become beliefs, and beliefs, which are thoughts, right? Beliefs have a emotional component to them. Those are your feelings, and those are hormones, right? So you have a thought, you agree with that thought, it becomes a belief. You have that belief more and more. A belief is like a self-referencing idea that you carry over a long period of time. A thought that you have that you don't agree with is just a thought, and it passes. A thought that you have that you do agree with becomes a belief, and that's kind of also a decision too, right? So what I want to do is I want to share a little bit over just a really simple framework that we use here at True Living to help people overcome limiting beliefs. But it's the same framework that we use and are using and have tapped into and are now multiplying its energy, its effectiveness, and using it as an incredible tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share here. And okay, now this is what we call the problem solver. And if you think about language, there's two sides to every conversation, right? If I were to say, you have so much potential, on one side of it, you could hear, man, Mike really believes in me. And on the other side of it, you could hear, I'm not, he doesn't believe in me. I'm not there yet. If I said, you have so much potential, oh man, Mike really believes in me, or he doesn't think I'm good enough, right? It's almost like you have this visionary, Mike believes in me, or this victim, I'm not good enough, identity with the words that we say. And that's all inside of your own meaning, right? I'm not actually in control of that. I mean, there's my intention to the words that are there and my meaning, but that's about where it stops. You're experiencing your own experience of the words that I'm saying. For example, if I say, I'd like you to think of a car, my wife thinks of a truck. I think of a Ferrari, a red Ferrari, and you probably thought of something completely different, right? But it's all with that word. So when we're looking at our lives and we're looking at the problems that we experience or limiting beliefs emerge in language. They're literally just decisions that we've agreed with. So we want to take a look and say, well, if we can get it out of our head and on a piece of paper, we can then at least be honest with ourselves over, is this something that is actually real or not? And what I've found is limiting beliefs are 100% of the time not true. They're just notions of truth. It was an idea that we agreed with it, and that's as far as it goes. So let's take a look here, right? So for example, if someone is experiencing the limiting belief of, I'm not a good public speaker, like, well, what's going on? Well, I was invited to this event to speak, but I'm not a good public speaker. Well, we know that that's a limiting belief because you can show up powerfully, right? And good is objective. So it's a limiting belief, right? And so first we want to look to say, is there a sense of right and wrong, good or bad, left and right, morale and ethics that are going on in our limiting beliefs? Because those are opinions about something and they're not actually factual. They're not tangible. You can't give me a box of good. Man, there's some great chocolates. They're really, really, really good. But some people are allergic to chocolate. So good isn't a universal thing. People get upset about this. I say, there's no such thing as right and wrong. And I say, well, what about when you kill one person or when somebody kills somebody? And I say, well, when on side of the fence, this person is a war criminal. Look what they've done. They've killed somebody. And on the other side of the fence, they're a war hero. So the good and bad is not a thing. It's an opinion of something. And so limiting beliefs are opinions of ourselves. And they're in language. And because they're in language, there's two sides to them. So what happens here is if I were to say, I'm not a good public speaker, there's always how it shows up in reality, my evidence for this. And that would be, I don't engage in speaking events. It's how it shows up in physical reality. The cost and the impact, because if I can become present to the cost of the limiting belief, now at least I can be honest with myself and weigh, is this limiting belief something I want to hold on to, or do I want to let it go? Because the cost is more than the value that I get by holding on to it. People aren't hearing my message would be the cost and the thinking that I'm not a good public speaker. And this was actually a true one for me. I was like, I'm not a good public speaker, and then how it shows up in physical reality is I don't engage in speaking events. This is a while ago when I wrote this. The cost and the impact of that is people aren't hearing my message. And the benefit of this, now this is where we begin to shift that belief. It's almost like you've been looking at one side of the coin and agreed that this is the only side of the coin. And now we're going to look there and begin to see that there's two sides to the coin, that I'm actually getting something out of carrying a limiting belief. What I'm getting is that I don't get rejected. Now, again, I'm going to carry this over to our marketing message. So hang in with me, because this isn't just mindset. When you're shifting somebody's beliefs with your marketing message, you're shifting somebody's beliefs, you're shifting their mindset. In other words, you're converting them, you're changing their belief about how things are done through your marketing message, okay? So for me, the cost and impact of I'm not a good speaker is people aren't hearing my message and I don't get rejected. That's it. It's great. I don't get rejected. If I don't speak, I don't get rejected. Right now, I'm speaking. You guys, feel free to comment and chat. I'll hopefully respond. But I could get rejected right now. You could be like, Mike, this is the stupidest framework ever. You won't, right? We know that it works. But there's a level of vulnerability that goes there. And that's one of the things that's so important for us to understand is that at that vibrational level, when you're in the present moment, that sense of free will, it comes from the possibility of being able to create anything, be able to literally author your life with your choices, but it's also vulnerable. It's directionless. It's not certain. You're open and you're exposed. So we cover that up with our notions of truth because we can be certain about them, but they come at the cost of our freedom. So it's not to say that beliefs are something that we don't want, that they're guiding. They literally give us a guide. Our beliefs are the container that we choose to create about ourselves. But when there's a limiting one that is preventing us from doing something that we want to be able to look at it and be able to see both sides of it. Remember, you have so much potential can be heard two ways. Mike believes in me or Mike doesn't believe in me. And either way, you decide. So the benefit of this limiting belief is I don't get rejected. And if you're able to workshop the benefit of your limiting belief, then you're going to be able to begin to become responsible for it because you'll see that you got something out of it, and that's why it's there. So you always want to look at that initial limiting belief and look at the polar opposite of that and create that as your new truth. So I am an up-and-coming speaker, or I am a phenomenal speaker. I just spoke with Jack Canfield on the same stage with Jack Canfield and Rick Frischman and Anthony DeGraff. Man, talk about some phenomenal speakers. Literally. Think about that. So you could see that this is a limiting belief, but my new empowering truth is I'm an up-and-coming phenomenal speaker. I'm an incredible speaker. I actually run an authentic communication class and course and networking event that people come from all over the world to attend. Wow, right? And the physical evidence is that what I just showed you. I'm speaking for a magazine and practicing, and that's all true stuff. The payoff for my new truth is people enroll in my program and I travel around the world doing speaking events. That's what I get because when I'm engaged in my speaking, that's what shows up. Okay, so now we have this basic framework. We basically said there's two sides to every statement. There's two sides to the coin. When I say car, there's how you identify as a car and everything you would consider that isn't a car. And when I say you have so much potential, there's Mike believes in me, and then there's I'm not good enough now, and both of them are present and inside of that statement, and you decide which one you hear. All right, so now let's get into marketing. Okay, so now if you're taking a look at your business we can use this same framework because your business marketing message emerges in language. It literally emerges in language. And so if we're able to shift the beliefs of the marketplace from a saturated marketplace into a place where it isn't saturated, into literally, they call it a blue ocean. If you think about a red ocean where there is the sharks are all eating, there's blood everywhere. It's just a bloody red ocean. No, there's so much competition in there. You're not sticking out, to a crystal clear blue ocean where there's no competition. You're the only fish in the whole sea. So think about it that way. What has you stick out in your business and in your industry is those new beliefs that you're creating, and how you convey those new beliefs is through your videos, through your blogs, through your content, through any social media that you're putting out there, because that emerges in language. It emerges in language and visually, right? But how much really are you doing visually? Not a heck of a lot. Most of it's in language. In fact, everything you're getting right now is in language with the exception of me. So your ability to communicate the core beliefs of your business in a way in which it identifies you as something unique, something new, something that people haven't seen, is going to make a huge difference for you. And it's the same exact principle that we use when we're helping people overcome their limiting beliefs, because the framework works. It's just this universal mechanism, because there's two sides to every coin. All right, so if we want to look at our old marketed belief, that's like the limiting belief, the one that everybody thinks is true, but we're now going to identify ourselves differently in the marketplace because we're going to throw rocks at it. One of those is, you work a 9-to-5 job or else you won't be able to provide for your family. Everybody's like, man, I'm not going to follow my dreams. I'm not going to follow my passions because I got to work a 9-to-5 job. I don't have the startup time. I just can't do that. Well, the cost of that is you're constantly working, you're commuting, you're eating and watching TV. You can't prioritize your health because you're not in control of your schedule. You end up feeling disconnected and overwhelmed. Your health degenerates and you're not in control of your schedule, right? Those are all real things that can take place. That are costs that you'll see to the belief of you work a 9-to-5 job or else you won't be able to provide for your family, right? You won't be financially stable unless you work a 9-to-5 job. Well, we say bullshit. The cost of that is you don't get to experience your life the way that you want to experience it, and you never get to really see your dream fulfilled. So you can see that we've got our old belief and then the cost. Now we went from world of concept in the belief domain to here's a real practical thing here, which is your cost. And then we say, okay, great. Now, if we're marketing, we might give some statistical evidence here. We might do 1 or 2 or 3 lines. We might hit a couple more pain points. But then we say, okay, great. That was the one side of the coin, and that's what everybody thinks. Let me share with you a couple of other ones that are pretty common here that we see often, right? Someday you'll take the leap of faith and go all in with your passion. I see that one all the time. Someday I'm going to take the leap of faith and go all in with my passion. Another one that I see, I don't have the money to eat high quality organic food. Totally limiting belief about money and about the quality of your food not affecting your health, right? People are asleep and you are better than them. People are asleep and I'm better than them. They just don't get it, right? So these are all limiting beliefs. They come at a high cost to ourselves. So then if we look back, we can then see the cost. And if we see the cost, now we have the opportunity. There's a moment where we're honest with ourselves. So now we move into the new marketing belief. The new marketing belief and the new market belief is what allows for you to stick out in your marketplace. So for example, in the one that we used here, you should start with the funnel and a website, and all the other stuff is a waste of time. Excuse me. Let me say that differently. You should start with a funnel and a website, and all the other wastes of time. When we wrote this, we were kind of in our beliefs. You shouldn't start with a funnel. You should start by market testing your idea. We know that. You could market test it with this. So there's a cost to that. You spend all your time stressed out trying to become a marketing expert instead of doing what you love. You become overwhelmed and can't compete and never seem to have your dream come true. Well, here's the new market belief. There's a step-by-step framework that teaches you how to fill your business without spending money on ads. It's not hard to launch, and there's none of that other silly shit. So you could see how what we did is we acknowledged the existing market belief and we moved ourselves to the new field. We say, bullshit. You shouldn't be starting with a funnel. You shouldn't be starting with a funnel. The cost of that is you're trying to compete with expert marketers. What you should be starting with is this step-by-step framework that allows you to get crystal clear on your message, crystal clear with your identity, and start making revenue now. I want to have the opportunity to share it with you. Here's the evidence. We're doing it right now. You're watching it, right? Do you see how I went from old market belief and I'm now looking at the other side of the coin? And then here's the benefit. And sometimes we'll do 1 or 2 or 3 statistics there. And here's the benefit. You have time to take care of your health, family, and kids. You're not stressed out trying to learn marketing and trying to compete with people like our marketing agency, which is just going to crush you, right? You can't compete with us. So, you can see that the same framework here that we've used to help somebody overcome their limiting beliefs of, I'm not a good public speaker. This is how it shows up in reality. This is the cost, the impact, and what's going to happen in the future. Here's the benefit of that belief so that we can own it. This is why you believed it. People want to hear that you understand why they believe what they believe. And then here's the new empowering truth, the physical evidence for the new truth, and the payoff for the new truth, our new notion of truth. And that same formula works with our marketing. Boom. Here's your old belief, the cost that you see, the physical evidence, the inevitable future, the cost. Here's the new market belief that nobody else is believing in the system that we found. Here's the statistical evidence for it, and here's the benefit. So hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of that. What I would recommend doing is learning more about this system. One of the things that we're doing is we're taking the top 10 beliefs of true living, and we're creating a ton of different content, and that becomes the heart of the beliefs of true living as you'll see them in the organization. And then we just share those beliefs over and over and over again. We can talk about them, we can agree with them, we can disagree with them, we can expand on them, but it becomes a core identity and allows the core identity of our organization and our community to stay consistent on all channels. So hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of that. When you really understand what it is that I just taught you, it should completely change your world. You are listening for your fears, your frustrations, your challenges, and your wants, needs, and desires to be fulfilled or eliminated. And that has you in a constant state of seeking. And this is a way for you to not only become aware of your own belief patterns and what is directing your life, but also begin to take responsibility for what you're creating with your language. So guys, my name is Michael Peluso. I'm going to be tuning in here on a regular basis to share some value with you. If you're not already friends with me on Facebook, you should send me a friend request. You should join our True Living Tribe, where I am going to be dropping content like this on a regular basis all the way between now and Christmas. I'm going to be going through my own personal transformation. I'll be honest with you, sharing all kinds of incredible stuff. And join our Spiritual Entrepreneur Hangout if you haven't already. 7,000 amazing spiritual entrepreneurs in there that are out there living life consciously. I am about to host an event, and I hope that you guys have an amazing day and you can take this and put it into work right away. All right, bye for now.